Technically, I did. I did pull off. Thank God. For context, yesterday I was working at for the NVIDIA GTC competition, which is basically a competition where you build a project with NVIDIA's models for a chance to be flown out to NVIDIA GTC happening in California. So I competed in that. I was really worried 'cause it was going to be like a big time thing because it wasn't originally on my schedule. However, I decided last minute, you know what? I'm just gonna do a time sync. Let me see if I can maneuver it and get it done on time. And I was, so thank God. And what I built was basically it's a tool to spatially anchor information for construction workers. So if you're a construction worker, you want to know what the context is for everything in your space, right, in your vicinity, and that's a bit hard because you can have like a bunch of documentation, you can have context, you could have software, but really I just want to be able to look at something and know what it is. So what my tool does, what Nemo does, is that it uses image embeddings to tag objects. So you could take a picture of this water bottle and say this is Cora's water bottle, or this is this water bottle infected or whatever, and that information stays with the object for wherever you place this. You could place it in another room, then you could do that as well. And the information will still be there. So I think it's really cool. I think one thing that sucked is I couldn't get the live demo to be better. I was able to do a live demo in the last like hour or two. I think it was the last hour, no, last hour two or last hour or three. Anyways, I didn't have much time to make it better because I had a really high latency, so it wasn't as fast as I wanted it to be. And I guess that makes sense because I call calling a bunch of APIs. But I do imagine if I was running locally on the phone, then it'll be much easier. And that's another thing I do. Part of me wishes I used AR glasses if I had them because it would be really cool to like show like the live demo where it's like, oh, I'm looking at this, I can see, oh, this is whose laptop, this is this, or this on my construction site, and I can see all the context for each thing. And it's a great visual for like, oh, if you're a construction worker and you come there in the morning and want immediate context, AR glass would be a really great way to show that. That being said, like I said in the video yesterday with the demo, I also do think there was a benefit. I hopefully it shows to the judges there is a benefit in using a phone because with AR glasses that's a cost, right? That's a high barrier for many people. Like how many AR glasses are you going to get for all your construction workers? But with a phone, right? That's like everyone has a phone, everyone has a camera, everyone can like most people can record. Not everyone, but like most people can record with their cameras, and most people have a phone. Point is, by using phones, I was able to, like it has more. It's easier to use. Like the technology is still impactful and it's easy to get, right? So it's not like, oh, you need a whole new device. um I do wish I could do more editing with the video. I by attempting like making it look better, making it sounds better, putting like some visuals here and there, but I was on a tight time schedule for that because like, oh, this was something I knew about for a while, but I just didn't know if I was gonna compete. But then I saw like, oh, you know what, why not? So I can't really complain there. But man, thank God. I was really worried that I was going to do all that work, and then last minute I was going to miss the deadline because the competition ended like 2:59 p.m. Pacific time. So I was like, oh dang, how much time do I have there? So I was able to maneuver that, which was really nice. Recording was a bit awkward because when I was recording, I was like, oh, I had to also post this on Instagram because I knew I had the feeling that Instagram was gonna be one of those areas that most people didn't post on for their stuff. I know one of the judges said he posts on Instagram and tag her. So I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna also take advantage of that and say this is an area that not many people are exploring. So I'm gonna capitalize on that. My thing was that I just didn't like how my voice sounded. It came off as very nerdy. Um, but funny enough, when I actually posted a video, it was way less nerdy than I expected. I was like, oh, dang, this is actually a good video. Um, that's nice. I think something that helps with stuff like that, and like even with challenges like that, is that I've been doing this for so long, like a year and a half now or 2 years, where it's like, oh, I've recorded so many videos of myself that like you just get used to it, right? Sometimes it's embarrassing, sometimes it's not. It's just a matter of what you do. Like you can't in my view, it's silly to have something impede your way from point A to point B, right? It's like if, well, like let's say you have a time, like you have 5 minutes to get from point A to point B, and then the 5 minutes passes and you don't get to point B, and the only reason to get to point B is because you don't want someone to see you walking weird to point B, then that's gonna look really sad, right? It's gonna look really silly. I mean, um, so I was able to do that. Actually, a lot of people also had a lot of positive feedback, a lot of positive reception, so that was really nice to see. I'm planning to post it in the car stack. So I think one thing I can also do is try and make it not blow up, but at least get more attention. So it does draw the eyes of more people than just the judges, which could lead to chatter amongst the NVIDIA folks. Say, hey, this is an interesting product. Maybe we should explore this, and then maybe that could factor into the judgment of the tool. Another thing I think that helped is that I actually had a proper mind. From my experience, where I've learned with NVIDIA competitions, is they're very problem and solution oriented. They don't like solutions to non-existent problems, right? So like if you said you built a if you build some tool that does X and it's like, oh yeah, it's visually impressive, like who does it actually impact? I think that's something that does have a negative side effect in terms of judging in my experience. So I think that also helped. I was looking through many of them, and some didn't necessarily have a clear frame of the problem. Even if I was to criticize myself, I would also bring up like I could have made the problem more clear. There's also an argument can be made that it's not even a problem, right? I didn't show any stat, I didn't show any data like, oh, construction workers complain about this. The only data or the only insight I have is like a couple forums of construction workers complaining about miscommunication, because then especially they complain about miscommunication. I infer that due to them being in a spatially relevant environment, there's probably a lot of noise generated by that environment. So there's bound to be miscommunication. And what if you could anchor information in that environment so that noise is less effective on the transferring of information, right? So that was my idea. But I don't know how clear that comes off to the judges. So I'm really hoping they have some creative minds and do some work for me there. Overall, I think it was really cool. It's my first time using a vision model, I believe. So that was also really nice. I plan to probably do more stuff with it. There's a World Labs hackathon. I'm not going to be competing, but like I have to use some tools just to get a better idea with it. So with World Labs and their Marble product, maybe I could play around with some stuff. That I've been seeing some cool stuff about like games, and then especially with this whole idea of native world model game engines that I want to cook up on soon. Maybe I could do something cool there, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So that was really nice. Also using like using some speech to text to speech models was really interesting. It was my first time using the 11 Labs model for the text to speech, so that was also really interesting because I was gonna apply for an internship there, but ultimately I decided that it was a different career path than I wanted to go down. And so it's like, yeah, obviously not to say I was gonna get like the job, right? But I was just saying like I was gonna even I got the one with the contact of the recruiters, even though I should still follow up and say, hey, what's up? Because who knows what they're doing? Maybe it's like, oh, you have sound world models. That's something I've been really interested for a while now, though. Like, how would sound work in the world model? Because like, would you be able to predict how you're meant to hear sound in certain areas in the environment? And I really want to see that with Genie 3. Because I think Genie 3, there's no sound, or if it sounds like, oh yeah, you just see like the way I'm moving, it's just like it's not dynamic in the sense like if birds are chirping and the bird flies around me, how is that sound generated? And I could see that in a 3D, 4D sense where it's like if you understand the physics of it, then it's like it should be pretty easy. Not pretty easy, but still. So with video though, I wonder like would you say, hey, increase like this is likely to increase around this area. Also with AI videos, I wonder if I've actually seen that where it's like I don't know if someone has seen who's watching this an AI video pre February 17th, 2026, where it's like the sound changes dynamically based on the object, the audience's distance from the whoever is making sound. I haven't seen that, so maybe that's another thing to look into. Really cool idea. I think I'm going on a tangent now, but it was a cool project. I'm really happy I got it done. Thank God. There's more stuff along the way. I think so far 2026 has been a really cool time for projects. I did the dynamic game compiler. I did the mini world. I proposal for mini world. And now I just did the Nemo project. I was gonna call it Darwin, but this just doesn't forget. So it's been a great time for projects. More on the way. But we'll see. Besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.